I thought I'd shoot this quick video around pets in rental properties. There's been a little bit of confusion amongst our landlord clients around the rules that have now come into place from the 2nd of March. We can't not allow pets in rental properties anymore. It's not as simple as saying no and then the expectation is the tenant has no pet. From the 2nd of March, the rules for the Residential Tenancies Act Victoria have come in stating that pets can be in rental properties. The rental provider, who is the landlord or the real estate agent, will receive a prescribed form from Consumer Affairs from your tenant requesting the pet. Once the tenant has submitted the prescribed form from Consumer Affairs to the rental provider, the landlord then has 14 days in which to respond. Now, those 14 days are very clear, and it states that you can either accept the pet or apply to VCAT to reject the pet, or to have a rejection notice issued by a member at VCAT. If no response is given within 14 days, it's an automatic agreement to the pet staying in the property. So the process now is for the tenant to submit the prescribed form requesting the pet. If you don't want the pet as a rental provider, you must apply to VCAT to have the pet taken out of the property. If you don't within that 14 days, it's an automatic exception of the pet. So there's a process and a clear process to follow now under the Residential Tenancies Act, whereas previously it's been a little bit of a grey area around accepting pets. If you go to a hearing, the VCAT tribunal member will consider a few things. 1, is the pet suitable for the property? 2, is the property suitable for the pet? And they will take into consideration the type of property, the fixtures and fittings and appliances within the property. And 3, if refusing consent is against any current act in place. If the rental provider is successful in their application to exclude the pet, the tenant will then have 14 days to remove the pet from the property if in fact it's already in place. If it's not removed within the 14 days, the rental provider can then apply to have the tenant excluded from the property within 28 days. If your tenant has a hidden or sneaky pet in your property, you can apply to VCAT to have the pet removed because the tenant hasn't followed the due process. So there is a process to accept pets, reject pets, and this all comes into place from the 2nd of March. So if your tenant already has a pet in the property, it's already in place, there's nothing you can do about it. This starts from the 2nd of March 2020. The rental provider, the landlord, cannot ask for a pet bond. This has always been the case, so that hasn't changed whatsoever. So we're predicting there's going to be a lot of delays with VCAT hearings, and it's not just going to affect pet applications, but all the other applications that go through the residential tenancies list at VCAT as well. When a tenant applies for a pet, say they're applying for 3 chickens, they need to put in 3 applications, separate applications for those 3 chickens. If the owner wants to reject that pet application for the 3 chickens, they need to put in 1, 2, 3 applications to VCAT to reject those chickens. So you can see how it's going to clog the system up. Nothing is tested yet. So we don't know how members are going to see pet applications and rejection notices from the rental provider. So stay tuned on this. I'm sure we'll be tested on it in the not too far future. But really have a good think about whether you want to reject a pet in a property. Take the advice of your property manager. We have a good idea around what may be accepted and what may be rejected. It's a costly process to go to VCAT for any matter, both in time and money. So really weigh up your options, and as I mentioned, take the advice of your property manager before going to VCAT to reject a pet. I hope this has been helpful, and if you want some more information, don't hesitate to click on the link or send me a PM, and I'm more than happy to answer your questions.